So there are a few things happening in the aviation world right now, from New Zealand's critical shortage of aviation engineers to the evolving technologies that promise to improve airport security, like the TSA's new Shoe On screening trial in the US. We're also going to take a look at how airlines are tackling on-time performance challenges and the exciting potential return of supersonic travel with Concorde's anticipated comeback. There is a lot happening in the sky, so to tell us more is Irene King, aviation commentator. Irene, good to chat. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
And we do have a lot on interesting stuff. Now, can we start with the Air India crash last month that killed 260 people? The country's aviation regulator has ordered inspections of fuel control switch locks on specific Boeing aircraft models, including the 787 Dreamliner and selected 737s, I believe. Should these models then all be grounded until they are checked, or is it not practicable?
Look, I think the issue here is that the problem has been detected, but in a very different model some years ago.
Yes.
And so the process generally is to do a short, sharp audit. You know, you do a significant number, but it's short and sharp to see whether this problem has emerged or been identified with this particular model. Now, it hasn't in the past, and it hasn't for quite a few years. And so it is sort of one of those theories that they are pursuing, because you must look at everything.
Yeah, because you are right. The problem was flagged as far back, I believe, as 2018 by the FAA.
Yep.
So it wasn't,
but not in this particular model.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
It's a very different model of aircraft, and it was from time to time you have problems with manufacture.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it was identified back there, but it hasn't been identified in this particular aircraft type. Doesn't mean to say that it's not there.
Yes.
It's just it hasn't manifested itself. And normally you would have thought that it would have by now, because this model's been in operation quite a while.
Yeah, because I've often thought, Irene, when there has been sadly an air accident, and then we look at the model of the plane, I've often thought, does all the world's aviation companies who have this same plane, do they that day kind of have a big meeting of the top board and say, we need to look at our planes, or is it not?
Yeah.
Do they do that?
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of data exchange and a lot of communications, and a lot of information flows obviously from the manufacturer to the operators and intents.
Yep.
And they say, well, look, we think we might have a problem here or there. Can you do a check? Can you do an additional check? If they think it's critical and serious, they just pull all of the aircraft and do a check, a thorough check, and then they can go back out operating. I think in this particular case, that they have isolated through all of the communications and digital information that was coming off the aircraft that the switch is problematic. What they don't know is it problematic because it was moved by man, or is it problematic because it was moved by the machine, i.e. the aircraft?
Very interesting. Very interesting.
So they're working their way through it. I mean, it's been it is a really high quality interim safety report, and they are really working through this, because modern jetliners just don't fall out of the sky like this one.
No. Quite a bit of excitement, Irene. Concorde is set to make a commercial comeback as early as next year with Fly Concorde Limited. They say they're aiming to reinstate supersonic passenger flights, slashing flight time between New York and London by about 5 hours. Does this mean, is this a whole new company, or are they bringing the Concorde, the actual plane, original plane?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, it sounds like they're trying to reactivate the original. Good luck, is all I can say.
Oh,
wow,
okay.
What a
this?
project. What a project.
What's the problems?
it's an older aircraft. People are not familiar with it, like pilots, technicians. The systems, they haven't flown for such a long time, so they have to be very cautious about how they bring it back into service.
Yeah.
And it has got, it is, while it was extraordinary technology then, it's got
it's probably
our
archaic
engine
now, isn't it?
well, our engine, no, it's got a lot of cool features, but our engine technology has changed so much, and the way we burn fuel, the engines are much more fuel efficient now, whereas Concorde just, it drank.
It was thirsty. She
yes,
was thirsty.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was very
true.
thirsty. Yes,
So it'd
yes,
be very
and
expensive.
extraordinary. But it's a project that grips people's imagination.
Yes.
And the technology and the design behind it was, way ahead of its time. And we have not been able to replicate it,
Yeah.
efficiently replicate it, I should say. I'm sure that they could replicate it, but to do it, at a cost-effective basis is incredibly challenging.
Well, it will be, because I saw surveys in the UK showed huge interest, but they didn't ask. They didn't ask about the price. So it could end up being a novelty that starts out with a hiss and a roar for the ultra rich, but then it might just quietly die away.
Well, I think also the world has moved a lot in terms of green technologies and the way the world thinks about aircraft that burn carbon, and that too has to be factored into all of this. So if we had
I don't know.
we had a modern
I don't know,
engine.
Irene. I don't know. I mean, people, we say that, you say that, but there's a whole bunch of people that don't care about that at all. And
I agree. I agree.
And if they want to get on the Concorde because it's cool and also it saves so much time, they're not going to care about burning carbon. Here's the other thing too. My husband's uncle, dear departed, now, but he flew the Concorde quite a bit, quite a rich man.
Yes.
And I remember I was like, did he? And he's like, yeah, but he said it wasn't super comfy because it was very, because it was so streamlined. It was very thin and long. And
we call it narrow gutted.
Narrow gutted. It was narrow gutted.
Yes.
Yeah. But people do it. All right, let's have a look at this now, Irene. Qantas is edged out Air New Zealand in punctuality, according to the latest Ontime performance report. The Thai Air Asia, interestingly, they top the Asia Pacific rankings with nearly 88% of on-time arrivals. Qantas, Singapore Airlines and Air New Zealand came in 8th, 9th and 10th respectively, all hovering at about 79%. How important, Irene, is on-time performance really? I mean, does it impact more than just passenger satisfaction?
Oh, look, absolutely. This is about a key metric for the airline. You can imagine if you can market that we're, the highest performing airliner in the world, because our on-time performance is stellar. It's a marketing point of difference. But customers are sensitive, and I think it's good that the information is out there in public, because you can. The thing is, it changes people's expectations. I think the expectation was post-COVID that there were massive disruptions and we'd always be late in cancellations. Well, now we can see that, in fact, yes, the disruption is significant. I'm sure if we had pre-COVID data, we would say, well, this is still not looking flash. But it's a goal that airlines can aspire to. And I think the most telling comment I have seen is that it changes the way airlines think about dispatching aircraft and how they dispatch them. Now, 100% would be extraordinary, and you would be asking questions probably about that too,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
as well. You know, how are you doing it? What, you know, are you, I hate to use this word, cutting corners and stuff like that. So, you know, but it's an aspirational goal and it's out there in public. And I think that's great because it changes the way, you know, airline management responds to their customers. And I'm totally in favour of that.
There's a financial reason behind there too, isn't there, Irene? Because if airlines are late, for whatever reason, it could be weather, unpredictable factors are always in play. But if they are late to a gate, they also get charged, or late away from a gate. Is that right?